Good. How are you?
It's been a busy week.
Life is busy, Kevin.
Let's get the first pleasantries out of the way. We want to all extend extremely warm, healthy, warm wishes. Happy birthday.
I don't know where this
to
is
you.
going. Oh, to me. Thank you.
Double nickels.
Yeah.
That is quite a feat. Quite a feat in which I am.
She says she can't find it. Oh, God. That
she
just.
can't, what do you mean you can't find it? We have 98 people, so they're finding us.
I know we're live, but she's
Okay.
not. Her head is like
That's
in
fine.
the clouds.
We'll find it. So yeah, double nickels. Something that I won't see for quite some time.
You're a dick.
Yeah, you
Let's
are.
just call it what it is.
Quite a bit older,
Yeah.
but listen,
Distinguished.
You're looking well.
Thank you.
You're looking well.
Appreciate it. Yeah, time crawls when you're young. And then all of a sudden, it's the toilet paper.
Right?
And as you get older, it spins faster. It's crazy how fast a year has gone by.
Oh,
crazy how fast last 5 years have gone by. But thank you for the warm wishes.
And you know what? Just one question I have is, what does it all mean?
Yeah, what does it all mean?
You're
right.
I think that we probably should.
That is a good way of looking at things when you wonder, what does it all mean? You just have to laugh and say, what does it all mean? It's wise, sage advice from our friend the wizard.
Yes, and it's been a little bit of hectic, hectic times in our own world, but we're getting through it.
I think everyone has that. I think people say, "Why me? Why me?" But everyone's got their own chaos and cirrus,
and sometimes it's organized chaos, and sometimes it's not.
But in my life, nothing is organized chaos.
We get through it nonetheless. But it's been good. So let's get to a couple of things. I mean, we had last week, end of the week, we had Powell speaking at Jackson Hole and hinted toward interest rate cuts. What's your take on the interest rate cuts? I mean, certainly I think it's a little bit overdue. Probably should have been done quite some time ago with what we had been discussing back several months ago. But I think that this is now on the precipice of what we probably will see.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Precipice.
It's not bad.
Precipice and probably. It's hard. You couldn't say that 5 times fast, could you?
No.
Try
it. But it is better than irregardless as well as supposedly.
Right.
And that's also
then you look like
from the
you supposedly and irregardlessly look like a fool when you say that. What I take away, Kevin, is the Fed has a dual mandate, right? That dual mandate is stable prices and full employment. They came out and said that the central bank no longer aims for inflation to average 2% over time. In other words, we are waving the white flag on inflation and getting rid of the dual mandate and focusing more on unemployment. And if you look at the unemployment numbers, which we talked about last week, it's crazy because those numbers, they were revalued.
Or 35,000.
Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And so those numbers absolutely collapsed, where the labor market revisions were 461,000 jobs revised out year to date. 461,000 that when those labor numbers were posted, the stock market went up, metals came down. The markets are very reactionary.
Of course.
And so the 461,000 job cuts is something that betrays really the bullshit. I mean, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BS.
That's what the
BLS. It's BS, but it's bullshit. Whether they're talking about unemployment or inflation, the numbers that come out of the BLS are just nonsense. So anyways, the bottom line is the Fed is now evidently focusing not on inflation, but they are focusing rather on the labor market, which should have everyone understand what exactly is happening, is that these stable inflation expectations are no longer guaranteed, and guaranteed being a joke, because the numbers that come out of the BLS are just that. They're bullshit. And so when you realize that, what you should then understand is that inflation is going to get worse. It really is. And you're already talking about a dollar that's lost 50% of its value since 2000. And you're talking about a current U.S. debt at $37 trillion. with 5 trillion more authorized and the dollar down 11% this year, the worst since 1973. What happened in 1973? Gold was revalued. That's right. So look, as far as I'm concerned, look, over the last 48 days, the U.S. federal debt has gone up $1 trillion or 21 billion a day. And so when you have an economy that is slowing and unemployment rising with inflation getting hot, this is called stagflation. And you are now going to supercharge the inflation part of stagflation by giving up on the inflation numbers, which, and I've been saying this forever, they want to devalue the dollar and they want inflation. This is how they're going to begin to chip away at the debt.
Well, that's, I think that's one of the, your thesis as to what you've been speaking about the last couple of months. I think this just falls kind of directly into what you've been talking about.
Well, get this. The CPI has stayed above 2% for the last 53 months. PPI, the producer price index, is at a 3-year high. And then you revise labor numbers by 461,000 jobs. This is massive money printing. This is more inflation, and that's what we should expect to see, period. And let's talk about who it benefits real quick. They talk about this benefiting the middle America. Oh, well, it's lower rates so people can buy a house. Lower rates benefit the top 1%. Asset prices remain inflated as is. So higher rates would actually correct valuations, making assets more affordable for the regular people, but would hurt the elites and their portfolios and their asset prices. So the Fed policies are wealth transfer tools, not economic equalizers like we are being told. And that's the interesting thing.
So, and we listened, I'm sure everybody out there has listened to Andy's recent thesis on what he thinks is going on. I guess one of the questions I have for you is the United States not wanting to be the reserve currency. What would become the reserve currency? Gold would become?
Everyone will trade in their local currencies, and gold will be the backbone of it. If you make gold redeemable, then for example, the digital yuan is now convertible into gold,
right,
without converting into dollars. So the digital yuan or the yuan is not backed by gold, but it is redeemable in gold until otherwise stated. So in essence, it is almost like it's backed by gold because it's redeemable in gold. And if you have the redeemability of your currency in gold, then in essence, you have something that should be trusted.
Yeah, it's like a fungible asset that you can take on that. So that I get. I mean, if we're talking about redeemable in gold, and that's what would be the global reserve currency, can Rickards be right at 24,000?
Well, I don't know. And again, it's important to delineate. I wouldn't call gold the global currency as much as it would take the place of what stands behind the currency, like the treasuries, right? It's the validity of said currency. So imagine I'm a country, you're a country, we trade in our local, I traded you my digital Andy and you trade me the digital tattoo. And
I heard that currency, by the way, is booming.
It's booming.
The digital tattoo, there it is absolutely.
This is a little itty bitty one.
They are better than Bitcoin.
But the thing of it is that if you say, well, I have enough digital Andy, I want gold, fine. You always exchange it readily for gold. This is, in essence, is what a currency backed by gold would be. This is kind of like when we told the world after World War II that you can exchange your dollars for gold at a fixed rate of $35 an ounce. Well, if I say we'll always redeem gold for you at current market prices in the digital Andy token, just like they're saying in the digital yuan, then in essence what you have is backing. Now, as far as Rickards is concerned, who knows? Mike Maloney said 10,000 and he divided M1 into the gold supply because that's how it used to be. M1 was the currency that's in circulation. That is what was back.
M2 is kind of utilized. Is M2 utilized more than M1?
Well, M2 is when you look at your
statement.
Your statement, it's all the credit.
Correct.
It's like 90% credit and the rest is M1, the currency in circulation. So I think that's what Rickards uses. I'm not exactly positive how he gets to his $24,000 number, but if he did, who does it benefit? Benefits us. It devalues the dollar, and that's Stephen Mirren, who has now taken the vacated spot by the Fed, that the spot that had opened up. He's the author of the Mar-a-Lago Accord. He advocates for a weaker dollar to bring back manufacturing. Well, you can't bring back manufacturing according to Triffin's dilemma, if you're the reserve currency, Vance has talked about that. It's all little by little. Where have I heard that before? Steps that will take place to get to a point where you'll have a devalued dollar, you'll have a revalued gold price, you'll have inflation. You, in essence, default on the dollar in a world reserve status in order to reshore manufacturing and at some point grow our way out of this mess. That's where Judy Shelton's idea of pegging the back end of the treasury market to gold, so you have zero borrowing costs on the long end of the curve, so you bring back manufacturing at zero borrowing costs. With the massive devalued dollar, you can sell your product to the world and it works. So in essence, we're saying to the world, no, trade with one another in your local currencies. Gold will be the backbone of the system. And I think the United States, call me crazy, I think they understand this. I know the rest of the world does, or at least the BRICS, they get it. And I think that is, they say history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. That's exactly what is happening. Gold is coming back into, I think, focus by central banks to act as the guarantee, if you will, the skeletal system of everyone's local currencies to give validity to those currencies. And hey, if you are going to use it in trade, well, you better take it back for gold exchange. And that's kind of, I think, where we're going.
Yeah, well,
not for you and me. We're not going to be able to walk into the store and exchange our dollars for gold, but it'll be for central banks,
right.
and it will give validity to global trade.
Well, I think that it's like your old mentor said, right? Inflated default.
That was Richard Russell. They have two choices, inflate or default. You're right.
I think we're getting there.
And this is a soft default on the currency in order to hopefully bring back manufacturing one way or the other. It has to be done. You having problems with the ear there?
Just I don't like these things in my ear. They're just not. I'm gonna let you.
You look important.
No, it's okay.
You look
that
important.
wasn't for you. That was for what's in my ear. All right. Well, I think we should get to some questions. By the way,
nice vest.
Thank you.
Honest to God, you got more vests than I have shirts.
I think I have more vests than you have coins. Which, by the way,
that's a lot of vests. No, but it's a lot of vests. But
I mean,
it
is a few vests.
Have you ever thought about wearing something with arms in them? I mean, I don't get it.
No, it's only for this. This is
right. Every time I see you, I say, "Nice new vest."
Invested.
You are invested in vests.
All right, let's see what we got here on that. I don't think. It looks like Jana did do that. All right, let's start with this one. All right, here we go. Bill Button wants to know, how quickly can we expect Saudi Arabia's purchase of SLV to be shown in the market?
Well, you would think it might already be shown right now. I think the bigger thing that we should take away with the Saudis' major stake in SLV is that the amount that they took possession of will give them the ability to stand for delivery. You have to have a certain amount, a large enough amount to stand for delivery. And this is a privilege, of course, us retail investors lack. But I think it signals it's more of a psychological thing. Just like, it's funny because I would often cite Rick Rule and his take on how much gold that the public owns. And I would say from Joe and Jane six-pack to remember?
The what?
What I would say, the public owns very little gold. There's only 0.5% ownership from Joe and Jane six-pack to do you remember?
No.
To the Harvard Endowment Fund.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, ironically, the Harvard Endowment Fund just bought $101.5 million worth of GLD. Again, if he's anything like Kyle Bass, who did this for the teachers union in Texas, he took possession of said billion in gold. We'll see if Harvard does that. But you're beginning to see governments like Saudi Arabia, which now would be the fourth government who is signaling silver is important. China, Saudi Arabia, India, Russia. Russia was the first country to actually add it to their strategic stockpile publicly. India's bought 7 or 8 or 900 million ounces in the last 6 years. China, second largest producer in the world, flying all over the world, buying concentrate and doré from miners directly. And now you have Saudi Arabia making this huge purchase.
It's funny that you bring that up because it somewhat is a lead in to the next comment, which is, Jake's Custom Parts. We love you, Jake.
Jake, love you, buddy.
Bob Coleman's reporting on Twitter, or what was Twitter X, that the United States added silver and platinum to the critical elements list. which I don't know if that
I
is.
missed that if
Yeah.
that's the case. And there are some people in Canada that were trying to do the same thing with silver, that it is strategic, critical or strategic, not industrial, as it should be, and as the U.S. should do. And the realization of that would go hand in hand with my thesis that there are people within the administration who have gotten into Trump's ear and said, you got to do this shit or we're in big, big trouble. This is not an investment. This is not a commodity. This is strategic.
All right. I like that. Let's just get up in here and let's put this one on for you. Victoria ZQ wants to know, what do you think of the information that has just come out concerning China buying Canada's gold or shipments that they're getting from Canada?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, China's trying to buy gold from anyone that will sell it. And Canada's been stupid enough to sell all of their gold holdings that it doesn't surprise me one bit. China thinks well ahead of the curve, and, Canada seems to be behind the curve.
All right, let's go on to the next. Ooh, I just saw this one, so I don't even know what the question is, but I see it's Bob the Billionaire, which is actually kind of a cute name there. Bob the Bullionaire, excuse me.
Yeah.
I couldn't read it, even better name. Gold revaluation buzz is everywhere. We were discussing it this afternoon.
And when I started talking about it, you didn't hear it everywhere, but people thought I was an idiot for saying it.
And what's the name of the account?
The gold revaluation account.
There
That's
you
the
go.
name of it on the balance sheet of the U.S.
studied
government.
Tonight, didn't you?
No.
Thank you.
You did, yes.
yes.
Way to go.
Gold revaluation buzzes everywhere, but isn't the real story that since October of 22, the market has already revalued gold by 2x? The late 70s had some pattern, no FDR like, what is it, dictum needed.
Edict. So no, in other words, FDR confiscated it and then devalued.
Right.
I think Luke Gromen had a very cool take on it. Kind of what this guy's saying is that the market, he thinks that there will be a ramp up where they will allow the market to softly revalue it to a much higher level, and then they revalue it from way up higher. So
they're going to basically walk it up and then revalue it a substantially higher number,
right?
So that it's not just from 3,000 to 15,000, that it's going to go from 3 to 4 to 6.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay. I see someone brought you in here with a comment that you had with Gregory. Let's just bring it up here. All right. So Victoria again, ZQ said President Trump just signed stablecoin tokens into law, completely unconstitutional per your boy Gregory. Then he said, our connection with the source is what really guides us all, even you, Andy. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think you've been seeing for the last several years all sorts of presidential executive orders sidestepping Congress. That's just the way that it goes right now. And this is how they plan on finding demand for the Treasury market that's losing it. And it's synthetic demand where the Treasuries will be backed by or the stablecoins will be backed by U.S. Treasuries. It's finding demand, filling a vacuum for the rest of the world who says, you guys are idiots. You are literally destroying the value of your currency, which we are. And you take a look at last 48 days, we've added $1 trillion to the debt, man. I mean, how the hell can that continue? A trillion seconds, as I always say, is 31,688 years ago. How can we add that kind of debt every 48 days? $21 billion a day, man. That's just insanity.
I don't know. I must be on a roll here because every time you keep saying something, my next question rolls into the next one. So Rebecca Johnson says, is there a method in which the dollar would not devalue very much? Trump's ego wouldn't let it dive, do you think? I don't see how there's any way out.
Well, the whole reason to revalue gold is not to revalue gold, it's to devalue the dollar.
Right.
And in essence, that's what it does. And then you peg gold to the back end of the Treasury market to have zero borrowing costs on the long end so that you can bring back manufacturing inexpensively. The devaluation allows your products and your manufactured goods to flow throughout the world cheaply. So no, I don't see how they can do that. I truly don't.
Which brings me to my next, which I don't know if I discussed this with you or not, but the article that I read was quite astounding. Iran's proposed inflation fix is that they want to redenominate the rial. Their currency would retain the name, but they want to have the rial equal 10,000 old rial units. So they basically want to chop a couple of zeros.
They just did that in Syria.
Off of the $100
They just
bill.
did that in
Yeah.
Syria. But what it is doing, it doesn't really do anything to the value. It just means in Syria, they're taking stacks this big with them to buy a loaf of bread, instead of lopping off the zeros. So in essence, it's just a gimmick. It's all a gimmick. It just makes it easier for the public to transact with currency.
Well, according to the Iranian economist who told the Financial Times that the scheme is, quote, neither an effective monetary policy nor a mechanism to control inflation.
Right.
It is simply a formal adjustment to the currency unit for accounting purposes.
Yeah, and
makes
it's
things easier.
Just did it in Syria, the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
I mean, but again, it's as old as the adage of time. It's just another form of, I guess, devaluation.
Well, what it is, it's just when your currency is backed by nothing, you get to a point where you need more and more and more units in order to. And let's look at it in terms of the United States. People can understand. I tell the story in 1963, when my parents were married first. My dad says, "Mom and I could live on $6,000 a year comfortably."
Yeah.
Well, $6,000. What the hell would that do for you for a year? You and your wife, nothing. And so the point is that we've gotten to the point where our dollar is worth less and less and less and less and less. And if that were to continue, maybe we would need to do the same thing as well, because, well, they've gotten rid of the penny. The penny used to be worth a gumball. Now the penny's not worth anything.
And now they're not making it anymore.
Right. And, everything is moving in that direction in a fiat world now. In some areas like Syria, like Iran, because of war and all that kind of stuff, and their ability not to print like we can without consequence, gets to a point where inflation accelerates or becomes hyperinflation, and then they have no choice but to do these things. That's the old story of Weimar Republic Germany, when people would bring wheelbarrows worth of Reichmarks to the store to see if they had bread, and they would come back and the wheelbarrow was gone, but the Reichmarks were laying on the ground. So, or they would use it to heat their furnace. So you get to a point where your currency is worth less than the paper it's printed on.
Well, I did a couple of trades today for a good client of mine, Dan Carroll, and number one, he said that he wants your guitars from your office,
Hi, Dan.
your
How
home
are you?
office. Number two, he said that back in 2008, he set up a fund for himself and his wife with $10,000 for a hurricane preparedness fund, and he still got that $10,000 in the account. Except the $10,000 now probably will maybe get the hurricane repair or the hurricane prep person to maybe come to his house.
And what was gold in 2008? We talked about this the other day with house prices. It was about $450.
Yeah.
So if you would have put that 10 grand in gold in 2008 at 450, well, what would that be worth today? It would be worth 9 times as much. It would be worth roughly $90,000.
Right.
So it's not that gold has gone up. It's that the dollar, just like in Syria and Iran, continues to lose value every day. Gold is the barometer by which we measure the health of a currency. And I like to draw the analogy as if gold is sitting on the bathtub ledge like this, and the water underneath it is the value of the dollar. As the dollar gets worth less and less and less and less, gold didn't go up. It's just looking down at the water or the dollar value that's going lower and lower and lower.
Correct.
And that's what it's all about.
So it's amazing, because I will tell you, do you remember Nancy, who we met at our club for lunch, I think?
Lovely lady.
Wonderful. She called the other day.
Very pretty too. If she's listening, you're very, very pretty, Nancy.
Nancy was still wonderful, wonderful client. She called the other day to thank us because all the money that she had put in for safekeeping actually had grown to a point where her son, that she put a certain amount of money away for, is now able to afford his first home with his wife, just based on the profits that she's seen over the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It makes me happy.
And she's getting now ready to potentially do another sale for her daughter. Same situation, that she's going to be buying.
Well, and I want to make something very clear right here, Kevin. Have you ever heard me tell you to buy gold to get rich, or to
never,
or silver? Never. I mean, yes, silver has potential, and I say that, but gold is wealth, and we are at a late stage in this Keynesian system where the dollar is being sacrificed. All currencies are being sacrificed at the altar, and in relation to gold, which is the stability, the backing of it all. So, you know, I'm glad it worked out. I wouldn't have told her to do it with the intention of getting rich. I would have told her to do it. It's a stable way to keep your money safe. But if she said to me, look, I need that money for my son to build a home in 6 months or 8 months, I would have said, go to treasurydirect.gov, buy 4-week treasuries and be happy. But, you know, I just want it to be known that I'm not there to tell people to buy gold to get rich.
We've talked about this, and I talked about the potential of risk. And I think that's really what it is, at the end of the day, what I look at, risk reward. And when we were talking, I think we had brought it up once about Palantir as one of these high-flying stocks.
By the way, they bought 50 million in gold a couple of years ago.
But and that yes, which smart people, but that doesn't correlate necessarily to the equity price.
No.
And we saw Palantir go in the last 52 weeks go from roughly about, I think it was the 52-week low was around $12 or $13, up to just last week around $190. And I said, it's just, the market is filled with these balloons that have just hot air in them. And eventually they burst.
Remember what I was saying at the beginning about you lower rates, the rich get richer? Well, this is exactly it. This is you lower rates and create inflation. What happens to all of the equities and all of the assets? They go higher.
They do. But unfortunately, even still today, you have, I mean, this stock still went from 190 and instantly 2 sessions, we're at 155.
Yeah, so that's
20%.
That's scary. This is a casino, so to speak.
It has become a casino, like you said. Yes.
People need to listen to the wisdom of pulling profit off the table. That's what I try to say to the Bitcoin crowd. One of the reasons I'm so excited to have Michelle McCory here is that we can unite the two communities who see life in similar fashion. One wants to profit maybe more than preserve, but take some of that profit, pull it off the table, whether it be in Palantir or Bitcoin, put it into gold, put it into silver, and continue to leave your initial investment running. And so when that happens, if the price of a stock falls by 20%, you don't need it to go up 20% to get even. You need it to go up 40%.
100%.
People don't understand that. And so this is a deal where, you know, easy come, easy go. Don't be the one who says that. Take the profit, put it into gold and silver, and leave the rest running.
So we were just away with our wives, and my wife is almost always a winner in the casino. Almost always. She plays, she wins, she takes one of the chips, she puts it in her bag. She takes another one, she puts it in her bag. Next thing you know, I see she's out of money on the table. We get back up to the room, she empties her bag, all these green chips.
I'm surprised she actually did that.
Well, that's only the once. Usually she just takes the money that
I don't have it. I lost
it. And she says, "No, I lost it," and then it's already in her pocket.
Speaking of, you need to call them and get that picture.
Well, I know her secrets.
Of course, well, so do I. But all right, Alan Ritter. Alan,
hello, Alan.
You know, I love you. Alan wants to know if my wife chooses the vest colors today. Very adventurous. Yeah, just you know what I felt like a little army green.
You kind of look like the poster child for John Deere.
Yeah. But I give credit to my wife. She generally will tell me that I dress like an idiot, and she will revise what I'm doing and redress me. But this is all me today. Yeah. She was out. She's taking a little relaxing couple of days with some girlfriends. And I think John, do you want to come on camera?
No.
I see lipstick.
No.
But John is going to go meet them tonight for dinner so that they can have a nice, enjoyable girls' night. We have a boys' dinner tonight after this to go over some recent events.
It's good because I wasn't feeling good recently, and
I know, and we need it.
Yeah,
I think that it's very well deserved.
I just need, it'll be good.
Yeah, okay. Yes,
so that's not for 2 months yet. So slow your roll.
So Victoria's getting a lot of play today. Victoria ZQ wants to know what we think about 401ks now being offered new option choices other than stocks. Well, I mean, certainly we are very, very big fans of the rollover 401k into a self-directed IRA into precious metals. And very, very limited amount of companies allow it in terms of the custodian. But again, as we were talking about, with regard to thinking or believing that the equities market or the bond market has a lot of risk to it, this type of vehicle gives clients the opportunity for something
Well,
different.
I think
as
she's
opposed to just
talking
GLD
about
and SLD.
she's talking about allowing cryptos into, and you think about this for a minute. We've seen Bitcoin fall by 50-60% a few times, right?
We've seen it down. It's now down $15,000 in 3 sessions.
So that's about 12-15%.
Yeah.
People will shit their pants, and pardon my French,
In their
but
401k.
in their 401k, it is not. I mean, this is an inverted pyramid type of play. So yeah, it's okay to have that in the pyramid, but if you're going to use cryptos in your 401k, which in essence you're talking about your future and your retirement, you
do
should
it
be
systematically.
well. And not only that, the pyramid philosophy, where the base of your pyramid is stable,
Correct.
like physical gold and silver or whatnot. The middle portion would be something like short-term treasuries or utility stocks throwing off a yield.
Yep.
The top 10% would be mining shares, cryptocurrencies, so that if you lose everything on the top 10%,
Still have the 90%.
you don't have to
foundation.
bag groceries at 75 years
That's it.
old. And this is entry. The financialization of the crypto market is very scary, I think, for this reason, that if something happens to the equity market, it's going to yank down the cryptos too, because they are so intertwined
Yeah.
all of a sudden.
And look, it's very possible that, if something does happen to the equities market, which we've seen, when Trump first imposed the tariffs, we saw the equity markets got absolutely slammed. We saw the knee-jerk reaction to both metals, silver, gold, platinum, did take a hit, but we took advantage of that. But it was short-lived. And
You've never seen gold fall by 50 or 60%? Never, ever, never.
No, but I will tell you that when we did see that tariff announcement, my first phone call to you was to do the gold swap. And I sold 20 ounces of gold and I bought a whole bunch more silver, which at the time, I think gold was around 3,300. So I'm down about from that gold sale, maybe I missed out on $50, but I'm up almost $10 plus on the silver purchase. So it was a great
much bigger
trade for us.
move.
Yeah, bigger move.
That's
But like you said,
30%.
the stability is what you should be looking for. I mean, with crypto, I own some, I have some.
You sure you still have it?
I do. I check my ledger, and I check it daily just to make sure. But it does make me nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. Knowing that my metals are where my metals are, at my safe, in our depositories, in the vaults, it's comforting. It's nice knowing that I can actually touch it, feel it. I mean, it's a very different feeling. That. But
well, like I said, when someone asked me what's the difference between crypto and gold, I said, you can't cover your naked wife's body with Bitcoin. Now you can with gold if you have enough, right? I mean, it's true.
And you can do it a lot with silver too. You might.
She's saying, "Oh my God!" But that night she said, "Do it, just
exactly.
do it, throw it all on me."
And this is the Andy Schechtman Schechtman.
That's what
Josh,
my son calls
his son says. All right, let's get back to business here. Here we go. Oh, this is a good one, Miggy. What collapses first, the dollar or pensions entitlements? I think it could be a simultaneous. I mean, I think one will.
Well, I mean, I think it would be the bond market, which would bring down the pensions and the entitlements, which, in essence, I mean, it's a tough one. I think the bond market falls first. I think the bond market is the dangerous one.
I think the bond market basically precedes everything.
Right.
That's what everything is based on.
You see rates spike, and all of a sudden everything implodes. I think pensions are a very dangerous place to feel safe about.
But where's 90% of the pensions held?
They keep it in a lot of it in treasuries. Correct. Or they have made silly expectations of what they thought they could get in return. So you force them to make more speculative decisions. But it's not just the pensions; it's also the banks and the insurance companies and the reinsurance companies that are involved with said pensions. That if rates spike, it brings all of them down. So I think the dollar and the bond market will really move kind of in tandem together. As the dollar continues to lose value, you have to have higher rates to entice purchasing of the bonds. Well, if you have higher rates, what happens to the bonds in circulation? They go down, and you saw what happened at 5% on the 10-year.
Yeah.
Silicon and Signature broke. So as the dollar loses value, the bond market will come under severe stress as rates have to go higher. This is one of the reasons that they have the Genius Act, so that they can come in and use all of this synthetic demand on stablecoin issuance to keep the lower rates down. And then if you peg the back end, don't give any coupon yield to it, but redeemable in gold. You're kind of trying to head this off at the pass, if you will.
David Sergnal, if I apologize if I pronounced that improperly, wants to know, why is pre-65 silver allowed to be melted? Can this be stopped? Would remonetizing silver stop that altogether? It's history being melted down. It sucks that it's happening. Not much anyone could really do about the melting
I don't
down.
know anyone that melts it down. I should talk to my operations and see just how prevalent that is. But I know
that Matt, our guys and our traders, we don't melt pre-65 silver.
We were able to secure not too long ago $11 million worth of junk silver at 55 cents back a spot. And so when we were selling it at spot, you see how much we were making on that, and that's shipping it for free in most cases. Is not big margins, but the guy said to me, look, you want it, you take it all, buy it at 55 cents back. Great, we did. I would just as soon buy it and hang on to it than ever melt it down. I think whoever's melting it is short-sighted.
Well, we've been saying certainly right now that it's probably one of the best values that are out there.
Huge. I mean, it was the second most highest premium item during the pandemic.
And then of course during the banking crisis, I remember junk being
12,
if
13,
I remember, it was
14,
like 13, 14 over spot.
It was.
And we were selling it. We couldn't even get our hands on it enough.
Right.
And
this is why I told people back then, don't buy Eagles. The premiums are too high.
Yep.
And now they've come down to a manageable level.
Yep.
The premiums have a life of their own. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, the public has such a small allocation, 0.5% from Joe and Jane Sixpack to the Harvard Endowment Fund. But lo and behold, the Harvard Endowment Fund just bought $100 million worth of gold. Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
So the big money is leading the charge as the public is fully invested in equities at the highest level of margin exposure and option investment ever. So you have the public all in and levered and speculating with options, levered with margin, as the insiders are selling in record numbers, 2 to 4 billion a week since June, and they're all standing for delivering physical metals.
Money.
This is the smart money going where no one is going, and everyone is going this way, and the smart money is going that way.
And what I would say to that is
indicator 101.
Right, and I would say that right now. I mean, we are at, from what I can remember, a very, very unbelievable buyer's market in metals. Premiums are very, very inexpensive.
Easy for you to say you work for a precious metals company. See, that's what always pisses me off when people say that, but that is a very true statement. Yeah. It is a buyer's market. I've never seen premiums this low.
It is and by the way, we are that away from everything doing 180 degrees. That's it. That's all it takes. I mean, I remember I was just telling a client today, back when we were having the good song. Back when we had the banking crisis, we almost had some troubles because our system wasn't set with parameters in place that wouldn't allow us to enter certain orders. And there were a couple of the brokers that were entering orders, but we were seeing premium increases spiking 10, 12, 15 times a day. And they were selling to clients less than we were paying for metal.
Think of it this way. A lot of the dealers who are witnessing slow business retail wise, they're not going to go deep onto their line of credit and stock up on stuff. This is something we do. What did Matt say to you yesterday? He's buying everything he can because he's waiting, right? Yep. That's our operations. When this is the model that I really tried to hammer down with them in 2020. Go and buy everything you can. Go onto margin, go onto our line of credit rather, and buy everything that you can, because this will change. I've been at this for 36 years. I've seen the ups, the downs, and the cycles. And the cycles might be longer in duration now, but they're also far more violent. And I think that that most of the companies out there will be like, shit, we have so much, why should I go buy more? Well, if all of a sudden, bang, the price went up and everyone started buying it, something happens with the banks, or, the reverse repo market is down 99% from 2.2 trillion down to 200 billion or 20 billion. this is the slush fund that all the banks have when they're in
Right.
trouble, or the hedge funds when they're overextended and they need cash. They're going to speak. Their hands are going to be exposed. You're going to see a at some point, all of these players have to liquidate stuff quickly because there's not that slush fund. If something were to happen to trigger a panic, like in 2019, the repo market problem, or a crisis in liquidity, in credit, which is where we're going, and everyone buys up what is available, which would be gone and quickly if everyone jumped in. The dealers don't have they don't have the inventory. So now they got to go and buy stuff, most of it from across the globe. You're talking about short-sightedness to a degree, or maybe it's just survival. But the point is that the market, like to your point, can just like that, it can go from flush and low premiums to long delivery delays and massive spikes in premiums. I've seen it a million times, but it's to the point now where the tension, the coiled spring, is so much tighter that when it happens, it will be something that will make people say, holy shit, like I can't even get it. And a few weeks ago, it was being given away. I mean, you can buy gold eagles right now for, I don't know, $90 over spot in that range, backdates, right? But the brand new ones from the mint are 125 plus over spot.
And all the distributors still have their allocations that they have to take no matter what. I mean, these are the things that, we try telling clients that it's not a matter of, we're here telling you buy now, buy now. It's a matter of incremental buying. People should be putting some of this away because, again, the normal gyration in portfolios still, they say between 5 and 10% metals. It clearly, we know, doesn't happen. Financial advisors, I don't even want to say 1 out of 10 because that's way too few. But if the truth of the matter is that 1/2 of 1% of the investable assets are in metals, we clearly know that not 5 or 10% are invested in metals.
The funny thing is, it just doesn't take much common sense to know when you see the Fed abandon their dual mandate, get rid of their inflation peg. Inflation is gaining speed. The Fed is cornered. If you're not holding hard assets like gold or silver commodities, you're losing purchasing power. The dollar's down 12, 11% this year. Gold's up 40. That's a 50% spread between the value of gold, the value of the dollar. Just like we talked about the guy that bought gold or put 10,000 into a hurricane fund in 05. So,
and real estate's, hard asset, yes, but I mean, real estate market's not doing great right now.
Correct. And another way of saying that is the system is under stress and reality is catching up, but the public, as usual, has no clue. But the insiders do because they're dumping stocks and buying commodities and taking possession. So look at the central banks, what they're doing. They're wickedly buying commodities. Look at what China's doing, Saudi Arabia. You don't have to be
Russia.
Russia. You don't have to be a PhD in economics to see what is happening. You just have to be able to step outside of conventional wisdom and understand that your financial advisor, for the people watching our shows and others in this industry, they probably are, even though they're not maybe classically schooled in some of this stuff, they have a better understanding of where the world is going than there are people that are advising them.
Well, we already know. I mean, half of the brilliant CEOs that are out there don't necessarily have the degrees that certain other people do, but they run the hell out of these companies and make tremendous success out of them.
Right. Well, and they're not analysts, they're big picture.
That's right.
That's why I have nothing to do with running this company, because if I did, like I used to, not only would I lose my mind, but it gets to a point where you have to do what your strong points are.
Yes.
Again, I lose my mind all the
but
time, but you have to
listen, one of the wonderful
focus
things,
on your strong points.
One of the wonderful things about Andy and that he does extremely well is delegate to the people that do know. And I think that's what makes my.
And I don't know anymore the things that I used to know. And thank you for saying that. But it's true. It's like, I used to know everything that went on at my company, and now I don't. But I have
the people that need to do. I mean,
and
Finbar does a
wonderful,
wonderful job. Your wife, unbelievable. So, all right, JD wants to know, rumor in the online metals community is that platinum could go ballistic, as we have mined nearly all of its known quantity. Any truth to that? I'm hearing it can go to 20,000 plus.
I don't know what it'll go to, but you have there's a lot of reason to believe that platinum will go way up. You have the head of the Tokyo Metals Exchange who came out the other day. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and he basically said that LOCO, meaning location, London and Switzerland have no silver or platinum, yet they're trading literally none, but they're trading 3 million ounces a day in spot contracts that are deliverable. So you have a situation very similar to silver. In fact, it's interesting. You look at the short positions on COMEX, the largest concentrated short position of the 8 Western banks that we've always talked about is in silver. Number 2 is platinum. So platinum has been held down. The platinum comes from, I believe, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Russia. You know, you got BRICS and Belt Road Initiative players here that aren't going to be super friendly to the West. Yeah, platinum is a very good play.
Yeah, I mean, look, and again, I think it's a pretty good deal right now, considering that it's about 200 off of the high that we just saw a couple of weeks ago, recently, when it hit. And I mean, look, like we said, the Eagles, I mean,
They haven't made them in 3 years.
and when they did, what was it, 37,000,
Yeah.
roughly around there. I mean, they're not easy to come by.
They're not
We
going to
got
make
our
them
hands on
next
a-
year either.
yeah.
It looks like so. You know, this is why Eagles are being sold nationwide for like $200 premiums. They become numismatic.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be 200. Now, there are certain dealers out there that are 300 plus.
If you can find them.
If you can find them, and if they do have them, usually it's 1 or 2. We actually have been fortunate to come into a decent amount, but then once we get them, we have our clients that as soon as they come in, they want them and they take them out. So.
They're really cool coins.
Which OC Stacker wants to know with regard to our business, our clients, are your regular customers slowing down, holding, or selling with the current price of precious metals? I mean, I can tell you from my clientele, I will tell you that my clients in particular, are either holding or they're purchasing more.
I haven't seen much in the way of sales.
No.
We still have a lot of good business. It's just that we aren't seeing the people that we saw during,
Yeah, if you're using that as a barometer, yeah, without a doubt. But in terms of buying, selling, holding, I think the people that are selling because they have to. I think that's what it is, and I think that's more of a, macro picture than it is about metals. I think that's where they know they have their funds because they've appreciated so much that that's where they're going to fill the till of what they need.
But I see a lot of big orders, just not as many small orders. And during the pandemic or during Silver Squeeze, we would get hundreds and hundreds of orders per day that could have been a few $1,000s or whatever. And you're seeing people who I think are sensing that they need to do something, because leaving your money in dollars, you're destined to go broke.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have a conference call tomorrow morning with one of my clients that is actually in the process, signed an LOI to sell his company for about $6 million, and he wants to take, a good 60 to 70% of it and put it in metals. He does not feel comfortable having it in cash, sitting in a bank. So, by the way, that was a subtle reminder that we have a conference call at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but just giving you that heads up.
It's at 10.
I believe it's at 10.
I have to guess.
Yeah.
But that was
on
tomorrow. You accepted the invite.
Are you
that
sure
I sent.
it's tomorrow? Because I was supposed to go get my something notarized.
That
tomorrow.
is, we have that one is at 10 a.m. Eastern. The following day, we have a podcast with my other client at 2 p.m. I need to get onto his calendar.
I'm going
to invite you.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go and see if I can get it. I
can't.
can't hear when you talk, but you're pretty. I have to get something notarized. I'll have to
But
go.
you can be on the
you
can be mobile. That's fine. It's nothing. It's not a.
Okay.
All right. WC wants to know if our coin press is up and running yet. He's looking for Whiskey and Wisdom silver coins. I think we have some Whiskey and Wisdoms.
We have 10-ounce bars.
10-ounce
He's
bars.
talking about rounds.
Yeah.
I know we've had problems with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I always said to you, if we're going to do rounds, I'd rather put your face on.
No one wants my ugly face
on the obverse, and we can put.
I look tired today.
You do, but we don't have to use today's picture. I mean, on your phone, you use a picture from 30 years ago.
Do not.
You most certainly do. You and your
God,
lovely
I looked
bride.
good back then.
Oh,
I was strapping young man then.
Oh, here's a good one for you. What is EJ Grant wants to know what your personal gold to silver ratio in your holdings is?
It is.
You know this because your son helped you with this just recently.
Yeah. I have dollar-wise far more gold than silver.
Yeah.
Far more. The number is
a lot and a lot.
About 80% gold, 20% silver. But you have to understand, I've been buying gold every 2 weeks for 36 years. So
And mind you, the 20% in silver is still an absolute exorbitant amount
It's a
of
lot.
metal. So
but I'm not your poster child for 101 finance. I've been, you know,
every 2 weeks.
my advice, if I, well, I guess I don't consider your brother-in-law my financial advisor.
No.
He's someone that I do business with.
Yes.
So I'm not fully 1000% invested in precious metals. But he
I
would
think you're
tell
your
me
own
I'm an
financial
idiot.
advisor.
He would tell me I'm an idiot.
And I would tell him he's an idiot.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do.
Yeah.
Because, again, somebody like that does preach diversification, but yet what does he do? He buys GLD and SLV.
Right.
So, and that's, he still gets paid on it.
You're a
So,
moron, Rusty,
but
if you're watching.
we're going to bring Josh into the
But I
picture
love
here. Mixed Nuts Nation says he got his latest order of a couple of gold eagles from Josh today. He spent 5 minutes cutting open the box. I'm surprised you got it done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because when we ship out metals, you need almost a PhD in box opening to get that box open. And when you get that box open,
you
still have another one underneath to open again.
Yeah. Well, and that's how we can send it out with no identifying markings and supplementally insured that they don't know what's in the box.
Yeah, I had a call today asking how do we know that what we're sending out is legitimate, real gold. And
we test everything.
Everything
unless it's
comes
brand
in.
new from the mint.
Correct.
We test it.
Everything gets fully authenticated. We have extraordinarily expensive equipment that we use to test every single solitary piece of metal that comes in and out.
And so does our Brinks facility.
That's right.
What happened with the gentleman who sent in the coins? You talked to him. He's my client.
I know,
what
but don't blame me.
I'm not.
I know.
What happened?
His metals came into Brinks, and it turned out to be fraudulent.
A couple of the coins, Krugerrands, were fake.
Yeah.
And so we test it. Brinks tests it.
Yeah. Which, if anything, caused us a problem. Because if we're doing a buyback and the market then moves, we no longer have that metal. So
yeah, well, but I'll tell you, in 35 years, I've seen it once or twice.
Yeah, not from our end, but on the other end,
coming in from people we're buying it from. One guy who I like a lot, who just emailed me the other day. Sorry that your father passed away, Ben, but he sent in a bunch of coins, and a few of the Morgan silver dollars turned out to be fake. The rest of it was real, but someone unsuspectedly buys from some place, and it's not. This is why you buy from legitimate companies.
100%. And that's why it's not always about price; it's reputation and it's service. So go with that. But Jeremy Price wants to know, how low will silver go before it jumps? When do you predict the next good buying opportunity to be? I mean, I tell you, don't time the market. Right now is, I think, as good a time of any.
That's
to buy
like
silver.
saying, how high will it go before it pulls back? Nobody knows.
And the bottom line is, I think for where we all believe silver is headed over the next 3-year, 5-year, 10-year term, does it really make a difference if you're buying it at 37, 38, 39? Because one thing I will tell you, if silver does jump to 42, those people are going to wait for the dip to 37, 38, and then it goes to 45. You're now already at $10 differential between your 2 points. It's going to be hard pressed for you to buy it at 45 when you just missed out on it at 38.
$10 also represents a 30+% gain from where it is now, roughly in that 25%. But it's also, the way to smooth out the uncertainty curve is to cost average.
100%.
So if you're going to spend $10, break it into 5 transactions of 2.
If that's what you're worried about. If you're worried about it, then the dollar cost average up. Because again, dollar cost averaging isn't just for the way down. It to me, it's actually more important on the way up.
Right.
Because again, typically speaking, back when we were in the finance world, stocks that hit 52-week highs, much more tend to move higher and go from there. And stocks that hit 52-week lows tend to continue to fall. It took me quite a while to become educated on that and to learn my own lessons. Instead of buying what I thought was cheap stocks at $3 and $4, which went into the penny stock range, I should have just been buying the $20, $30, $50 stocks that have now subsequently gone to the $300,000, $500,000 levels.
It's hard to do, though.
So, yeah,
I mean, it's always hard to, and hindsight's always 20/20, but it's hard to make those kind of decisions. It's not easy. You shouldn't beat yourself up. I'll do that for you. Tell you what a fool you are.
Yeah, well, you do that daily. Dead Dollar asks, does Kevin still think 35 silver will be tested?
Who's Kevin?
I don't know. I guess, is it me or is it a different Kevin?
No, I'm joking. I thought you were
Kevin, but I don't remember even saying 35. I don't remember saying 35 will be tested. I don't think that it will be. I think that 35 might be something that we see in the rearview mirror.
I would agree.
I think that this, I think what people need to understand about where we are, at least on silver right now, is the last times that we have been at these levels, when silver hit the $50 marks, the 2 times prior. Once was 45 years ago, the other one close to 20 years ago plus. We're talking about it made a huge jump into the 50 range. It spent maybe a couple of weeks in the $30 range and then had fallen back down. Same holds true when we were in that 2012 area. It spent very, very short amount of time in the 30s and had jumped up to 50 and then back down. So we have built such a base in this $30 range for the last, how long we've been in the 30s now? For
a while.
3-4 months.
Yep.
Even, and then when we fell back below, it was during the tariff talk or the announcement. But prior to that, we were sitting at 32, 33, whatever it was, and then it broke just based on that news, and then has subsequently come back. We've never seen this before. We've never seen the stability in the $30 plus range that we have seen right now. And I don't think that we're going to see what we've seen before again. That's my opinion. I could be dead wrong. But I think that from a basing, I guess just from a base standpoint, it has found something that we have not seen before. And I think the next step is going to be above the $40 level. And from there, again, we'd be approaching the uncharted territory of that above 50, which I think nobody really knows where we're
I
going to
gotta
go
say,
from
you
there.
really sound like you know what the hell you're talking about. I'm very proud of you.
I think it's the best.
It could be.
It could be the green vest. Maybe we go.
Maybe it,
It
or did
could
you
be.
stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night?
No, I didn't.
Have you
because
have you seen those commercials?
Of course I have.
Those are the best commercials.
I mean,
We need a doctor here.
you don't
Are
want,
you a doctor?
You don't want this Doogie
No,
Howser,
I
that's for
stayed
sure.
at the
You
Holiday
don't
Inn.
want this Doogie
Yeah, his
Howser.
last name is how is that funny?
So Robert Hutchinson said some people are reporting 90% quarters are getting scarce. Yeah, well, again, the junk of constitutional silver is a fixed amount of metal that we have out there. And generally speaking, when we have it, we sell it. It is one of the most popular items that we sell here at Miles Franklin, especially given the prices that it's at right now with premiums being as low as they are. So yeah, if you are thinking about it, buy it. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Let's see.
Good thing you're doing this and not me.
Hi, Andy and Kevin. What kind of mitigation strategy, if any, do you have if silver is subject to confiscation? We get asked this question a lot. I, for one, am not a firm believer that confiscation is necessarily in the cards.
Well, the eminent domain says they have to pay you a fair price. There's not much you can do to mitigate that. Either you are a criminal or you turn it in. I mean, that's what sucks. But I think you can't live that way.
Do you think it happens?
No. What?
Something just happened on the.
I think. Oh, I probably forgot to rewind it. I think that they take SLV, which is the largest stockpile of silver in the world, run by BlackRock and JP Morgan. They could have their cake and eat it too. To take the silver of the public, which is the pimple on the elephant's ass, again, less than 0.5%, doesn't make sense.
No.
They could take the ETFs, both GLD and SLV, both run by JP Morgan and BlackRock, and look the world in the face and say, we didn't confiscate anything. We just closed these two funds, which is our prerogative. And there are other ETFs that they could do the same thing with. So I don't think they would do it. But if they did, eminent domain says they need to pay you a fair price. It would suck. Yes, totally. But I'm sure there are those that would not turn it in. This is why a lot of people would say if you don't hold it, you don't own it.
That's
and
right.
That's why you want to hold some yourself anyway and make the decision yourself. Do you feel like pushing the envelope and not turning it in? Well, that's up to you. But I can tell you stuff that's held in a vault or in an IRA would be hard pressed to not give that up.
Yeah. Well, it would be the easiest to certainly isolate and know and account for.
Right.
Helen Davey wants to know what happened to the Perth Mint a few years ago. Sounds like a little issue. I think they were talking about the purity incident that they had at the
Perth Mint has had a lot of bad press. I'm not speaking poorly about them, but Jason Hommel wrote years ago. Jason Hommel was long before you were in this industry. There was Ted Butler, there was David Morgan, there was Jason Hommel. They were the three silver guys. Jason just kind of disappeared. Actually emailed me or texted me the other day out of the clear blue on he saw me on one of those, what's it called? one of those messaging sites. What's it called? It's called.
I don't know. It's a
Not
good thing
that
I
it
didn't
really
just say-
matters,
It's
but
a good thing I didn't just say what I was going to. But that's
yeah, no,
totally
it
different.
was. Sorry, it was on Signal. He's like, "Hey, I see you're on here. How you doing?" I caught up with him, but he wrote. If you look up Jason Hommel Perth Mint, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. He's a math guy, and then of course Andy Hoffman, who worked for
Yep.
me, wrote something also equally scathing. And because I'm very good friends with Michael and Rich Checkin, who helped develop the Perth Mint program, we pulled that down out of respect. And whether or not Andy was right, it was more of the long lines of it wasn't very nice what he said, and I didn't know that he was writing it until he posted it. But the point of it is there's been a lot of smoke long before we even knew there was fire set where the Perth Mint supposedly sent metal to, I think, to China, and it had less purity in it than, or it was 24 karat gold, but had more silver in it than they allow in China.
But it was still the 0.9999
Yes.
purity of it. It just was
And
that
there's been all
tiny
sorts
fraction.
of
Yeah.
You got John, I forgot his name. My brain
What
is
happened?
foggy.
Is it 55 is really what happened to you? Double nickels?
Dude, you know how much shit I have in my head? It's like,
I kind of do. You know why? Because we talk about it every
I
single
mean,
day. I know.
not only do I have all this stuff in my head, but
The Cirrus.
there was a guy, John.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, John.
That's okay.
Anyways, he lives in Australia, and he wrote a bunch of stuff, scathing stuff against the Perth Mint. They've been beaten up for a while now, and it's warranted or not is irrelevant. I think it's just there's been a lot of talk about it. So
Yeah,
what was she
listen,
asking anyways?
It was about what happened a few years ago, exactly what you were talking about,
Yeah.
that the Chinese government wasn't accepting in the purity levels for them.
Adams?
But
no,
it was
not John. Oh, yeah, it is John Adams.
You know,
It is. Who said that? Someone.
They're a building too.
Yeah, thank you, John Adams, and he's a good dude. I've talked to him before, and he wrote all sorts of scathing stuff about them, and tried to get the regulators in Australia to act upon it. So
yeah. And the Perth Mint is
at least I
one
got
of-
the John part right.
the Perth Mint just, and again, I don't begrudge anyone for making any money, but the Perth Mint, mostly the RCM, sometimes the Royal Mint, these are some of the companies that the dubious dealers that we know.
Dubious.
Good
word. Word of the day, folks.
Hey,
dubious.
hello
I like
there.
that. Way to go.
These
Very
are
dubious.
some of the mints that are making the coins for some of these dealers that we try and prepare you or kind of steer you away from, or at least to do your severe due diligence on, so that you don't get corrupted by
A dubious dealer.
And their shenanigans.
Shenanigans,
because
dubious dealer. Way to go.
It is a very difficult task in trying to recover funds once those monies have been sent in. And again, just if that has happened to you, please at least just send us an email, info@milesfranklin.com. Tell us your story, and we will definitely have one of the brokers get to you and at least do an analysis to let you know whether or not that has been done. Just let's get back to this because I want to make this point. Zach Ryan, I think people, even stackers, don't get it. Still valuing their wealth in paper currency and not in ounces. I see the
Way to
complaints
go, Zach. That's
on
right.
silver every day, always complaining about price. This is what I would say, and
Most people aren't smart enough like Zach to be able to say that because they.
Seeing the forest through the trees.
Good one. Another good analogy. Love that. It's true. And Richard Russell, my mentor, used to always say, in the end, it's the number of ounces that matter, not the price you paid. It's easy to say that.
Yeah.
People say, yeah, right, bullshit. That easy. But it's true. Because think of what you own. When you look at your portfolio, you don't say, oh, I paid this for this. No, I have this many ounces and this many ounces, this many ounces. You can figure it out because you keep, copious. There's another one, copious notes, but it's the number of ounces that matter.
And this is what I would tell you. I would tell you, even the stackers out there, I know, we all know, everyone wants silver to moon and to go crazy. I, for one, don't. I'm still trying to accumulate as much as I can in the time span that I have the ability of doing so.
wise sentiment.
I mean, look, I have no other place to put hard-earned capital like the dollar except for the metals. So I don't necessarily want the price to shoot up right away. It's less that I get to buy.
Right.
So, be patient. Everything, trust me, I believe that this will happen, and everyone most likely will see a very nice return on what they're buying. But better to be able to put your money to work for you at a fair price than a price that is going to moonshot. So that's what I would say. Don't be in such a rush. It'll happen. And I think that you'll be happy if you continuously buy a little bit more, save up, put a little bit more in, save up, put a
I
little
gotta
bit
say,
more
I
in.
feel like a proud father today with you talking. You just
Oh,
have
wow.
this air of wisdom about you today. I'm
It
feeling.
might have been this weekend. It might have been a lot of the stuff that
You
we've
just
gone
seem
through.
like you know what the hell you're talking about. You got
Yeah.
me fooled.
Well, listen, maybe it's the best.
It could
Who
be.
knows?
Good job. Good job.
By the way, just cognizant of time, it is 6:10.
Oh, we have to go.
Do you have to go home
No,
prior?
I'm not
Okay.
going
All
home
right, so then
first.
we have a couple more minutes. Let's just get a couple more in.
Do you know the number of young adults living with a parent has surpassed the start of World War II? What if your kids move back with you? How are you going to feel about
It's not happening.
that?
It is
would
definitely
like
not happening. What?
I would like it.
My daughter can move home. Jack, I love you, but you can't come home yet.
Wow.
Well, he doesn't want to live
He
with
just
me.
dropped the gauntlet on poor
No,
Jack.
Jack
Jack,
knows.
come live with me, brother. I got you.
Jack,
Got lots of bedrooms.
He does. He's got more bedrooms, and it's a bigger house.
Come on, Jack.
And he'll treat you
We'll
better.
party.
You know
We'll
that.
have fun.
Yes. Darrell Wilson said, I had a friend swear to me that there was many countries with tens of thousands of tons of silver in back stock. Then he showed me a website that showed just that. Is that true?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what the website is, but remember, just because you see it on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
This is true.
Right?
No, it's
never
not
been a
true.
true word. Let's go one more. Joshua Ellis.
I'd like to see that website.
Yeah,
by
if
the
it
way.
is, please send it into info@milesfranklin.com. We'd love to
And
take
I
a look.
will eat crow if
Yeah.
that's the case. But everything I've ever read says contrary to that.
Yeah. Joshua Ellis wants to know if there's any validity to Jim Rickards' claim to there being 150 trillion in gold in caves in the Grand Canyon for the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Bix Weir says something similar. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Bix Weir. I drove with Bix Weir in his his Winnebago with he and his wife from
that must have been fun.
From Dallas, Texas, where I met. I'm having a hard time today. No, Jake's Custom Parts.
Jake Custom Parts. Yeah.
And drove to Litecoin Lisa's house.
Oh, Litecoin Lisa.
In what's the state right next to Texas? My God, what is happening to me today?
I don't know.
Well, I'm very foggy today. I don't know, man.
This is quite substantial.
Yeah.
Should I be worried?
No.
Normally things,
I need the combination.
No, you know what? I wasn't feeling well. I have so much on my mind, and I have all of this useless information in my head. Oklahoma, thank you. I went to Oklahoma to visit Litecoin with Bix, and we talked the whole time about just that. When you listen to Bix and he talks about it, and he shows you the articles that were written back then, and how the floor of the Grand Canyon is now off limits and you can't go in, and they blocked a whole bunch off, and there's, maybe, who knows? I mean, James Rickards is, what I would say about Jim is not only is he smart, he's connected, and it, information is key. He's been brought in to the CIA, to run simulated financial war games. If anyone is going to have a take on it, it's him, but who knows? And even if we did have all that gold in the Grand Canyon, we're not going to tell the world.
No, of course not.
Just like, do you really think China only has 2,100 metric or 2,500 metric tons of gold? No, They have way more. So maybe we do, and that would be great for this country, especially if we revalue it. Then all of a sudden, bang, but who knows?
OC Stack was proud of me.
Proud of you?
Yeah, it says tattoo is bringing a tear to my eye, Grasshopper.
You are.
Yeah,
have you learned how to walk on the rice paper yet, Grasshopper?
Not as of yet, but we're still in training.
That's
still
for those of you, the Kung Fu David Carradine. I remember that, David Carradine, Kung Fu walk on the rice paper.
Ronnie Dorsey wants to know, any thoughts on gold backs as a local currency and gaining popularity? Do you think this will help spur more people towards the precious metal space to hedge against inflation? I mean, you know my
I don't
thoughts.
have
You know
anything
my
against.
thoughts on.
I don't have anything against goldbacks. It's I don't.
We don't currently sell them. Not yet.
We've talked about
Yeah.
it, and there's some issues that we have to work our way through. But what
Sorry
did he
about
say? Watch out for your mic, Kevin.
I apologize. I'm being.
Anyways,
reprimanded.
I don't know. I think that any interest in gold or gold related items like the goldbacks, which would be used in, like one of my favorite clients that I have, he gets a haircut.
I get a haircut.
And everyone gets a haircut, but
I
he
got it from
pays
Tammy.
for it in New Hampshire. I go to Tammy too.
Yeah.
Cut a bitch. Right? And he
That is
he
true.
uses it. And Clarence, I'm talking about you, brother. Clarence, my good friend in New Hampshire, uses goldbacks to pay for his haircut. But I haven't really seen much in the way here in Florida of establishments that are
accepting of them.
well, or at least posting that
Yeah.
they accept it. So
Right.
it's a cool thought. It's a cool. They're very beautiful. The art on them is incredible. We have to get to a point where it becomes more recognized. And at this point, I haven't seen it, but again, maybe in places where it's more established, where the older ones, I think in Utah and South Dakota. I'm not sure all the old Wyoming. Maybe there is a more vibrant use case
Market
for
for it,
them,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Certainly here in Florida, we haven't seen it yet.
not yet, but
Yeah.
it just is new in
It
Florida.
is. It is new.
But look, I'm all for it. I'm all for anything that broadens the the use case, the use base, and the
Yeah.
understanding of
No doubt.
of sound money.
Excuse me. Jake Brown is thinking about selling a half troy ounce to help with starting a small business. He's having separation issues. He's having at the moment with the gold. I mean, look, here's the deal. It's a wonderful thing that you have the half ounce of gold so that you can start the business. Because chances are, if you just had the cash at the time you needed it, you'd need more cash now to start that business. So that's the beautiful thing about it.
Look at you today. Wow.
Yeah.
You might actually have
We
moved.
actually not do sober do the show anymore.
I think it might just be called the tattoo show.
No, please, no.
But yeah, that's the thing. Everyone looks at gold for an emergency or to pass it on to your children. It's also there for opportunities.
100%.
And this is an opportunity to take advantage of. And when you make your first paycheck, buy back that half ounce of gold or buy a 1/10 of an ounce with every paycheck, whatever you can do to continue to build it back. But gold is a good vehicle, not only for the worst case, but
for the best case.
For the best case.
Yeah,
too.
no doubt about it. I think. Are you okay with one more, and then we can?
I can do
you think a couple
we'll
more
go
minutes.
to 6:15.
Okay,
Three
perfect.
more minutes.
All right, Victoria ZQ. She's getting a lot of airtime today. Thank you for answering my question. Still have concerns regarding the 401k. In February 26, if I was to call my admin and say I want to have gold, silver within the 401k.
Only if she doesn't work there anymore.
Right. It's called
your admin's going to say no.
It's called an in-service rollover, and it's very unlikely that many human resource departments or custodians allow.
Unless you own the company, probably ain't going to happen.
And there are few and far between ways that you can. I mean, it's worth a phone call because, if they allow it, then I say by all means do it. And some might offer you a partial in-service rollover where you can do a portion of it. But find out. And if they do, give us a call, send us an email at info@milesfranklin and let us know. But they're the ones that will have to tell you. They make the determination whether or not you can.
But if you don't work there anymore, then certainly roll it into a self-directed. But while you're there, you got to go to your whoever runs the 401k.
100%. There you go. Yes, we discussed 401ks and cryptos. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what we can get to that we might not have already touched upon. Let's just see.
Thank you, guys. The tattoo show was great.
Way to go, tattoo.
Yeah, thank you. Listen,
maybe we should switch that picture, and you should be sitting in the seat.
I mean, listen. Clearly, everyone knows and loves Andy Schechtman, but I clearly have the greatest mentor.
Hervé Vallejos.
I clearly have the greatest mentor that there is. So
thank you, brother.
It's amazing. You get to work.
Look, I've made you famous too.
You get to work and spend time with your best friend in the world. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Nothing makes me happier. All right, here we go. Let's end on this one because this is a good one. Fellas, any chances that Miles Franklin will offer swag to its clients?
There you go.
Been wanting a hat and tee combo. He's waiting for a lot. All I want is a vest, black vest. with
We
white
have
writing.
it. I mean,
Uh,
the only problem is that you over there need to actually send it out on time.
Yes, and
Why don't we just like?
well, we could have a little bit of a market.
Why don't we get some more
yeah.
swag and sell like coffee mugs?
Yeah, and I think that.
golf balls.
I got a golf balls.
By the way, I just to curious, so we can tell by the comments, would tattoo look good in a
Yes.
slimming black vest with white Miles Franklin logo and writing?
And how about giant silver dollars on your nipples?
Yeah, I don't know about those. I would maybe want to bypass the silver dollar nipples, but I kind of like my background. Maybe put a gold coin on the sleeve.
You know
well, there's
what?
no sleeve
I'm
on
gonna
the vest.
get you one with two
but-
giant silver dollars right there.
I think I think comments are going to come in fast and furious that we should have some Miles Franklin swag.
We have it.
Not
but
a black vest
no,
for me.
black sweatshirt.
Yeah, I have that, but it's got sleeves.
We
You
cut
know,
'em
look, I you know,
like
me,
Rocky Balboa. You
I'm
can
a vest
cut 'em,
guy.
you know.
I know, but I don't want to do that to the good clothing. All right, let's see if anything new came in. Oh, John wants to know how much shit is in Handy's head. Has to know.
Well, there's
There's a lot of shit.
basically like 6 or 7 squirrels
Yeah,
running,
there's-
chasing
there's-
things.
You know, you remember that monkey toy with the drum
Yes.
that he shoves?
Yeah.
I can imagine you have quite a number of those going on.
Well, you know, it was really. If you ever watched the Poltergeist, that was the scary shit when that thing.
Yeah.
But that's
The
how I
monkey, yeah,
feel.
I know.
Actually, there are many nights where I stare at the ceiling, trying to go to bed, but I can't shut my head off. So
I
it's-
know. You know how I know? Because generally that's the time that I'm texting you, or you're
Yeah.
texting me, and you
I'm
know
like,
that
what
I'm
are you
awake.
doing
I know
out
that you're
there?
awake. I know. Well, I think we're going to end on that
I've
one.
done
We
that
have a
before. I'm
dinner to
like,
go
John,
to.
I'll watch this. I'm going to text him. He'll reply.
Of course, and it's usually no matter what time in the middle of the night. But tonight was a good one. I appreciate everyone for coming
It was
in.
good because it was all
The
you.
tattoo show.
Hey, listen.
Let's call it that. The tattoo show.
Subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, smash that like button. We will be back. Are we going to be back Monday?
think so.
Are we here Monday?
Thanks. We won't be
Well,
back
that's
Monday.
Labor
It's
Day,
Labor
right?
Day.
That's Labor Day. So maybe we'll do it Tuesday. If we can, we'll do it Tuesday. If not, it'll be the following Monday, of which we will be here, but then we will be traveling to New York for a couple of symposiums for some private client functions.
That's not till the end of September, though, right?
Yes, I will be gone from the 7th. I'm going to be gone a while.
Son of a
I'm going to be gone the
bitch.
17th to the 26th.
Does your wife know?
I'm not sure she does.
I'm seeing her in an hour.
I know, but let's maybe not say that.
Wow.
But she
This
will
is what
know.
happens when you're married,
yeah,
everyone. It's kind of,
it's
oh,
for
by the way,
business.
you didn't know, I told you.
By the way, it's for the first couple of days is a member guest golf outing that I was invited to. Very, very special friend of mine.
Hello,
Wonderful
Mark.
guy, right, Mark? And he's always my member guest, and I'm his member guest. And I was going to come home Sunday, but we have to be in New York on Tuesday. So I think what I'm going to do is, since my daughter just moved to New York City, I'm going to spend a couple of nights in New York, see her, take her for a nice dinner, I guess take her shopping, whatever
You know
it is.
what? I would like to meet Chris Irons for dinner while I'm out there too.
So
Quote
let's
the
do that.
Raven. We got to do
let's
that.
do it.
We're gonna do
Well,
that.
we have some things already situated, but we do have some daytime hours. I think that we can do some stuff.
Chris, if you're watching lunch,
Yeah, so let's
end
do
of
that.
September.
So I appreciate everyone for taking the time to come. Any questions that you have from now until
Send
our
him
next
the
show?
tattoo.
Yeah, send them to info@milesfranklin.com. Give Jana a call directly because she's wearing lipstick. And
Why don't you come say hi, Jana?
yeah, but all right. Well, listen, it's been real, and it's been real with you.
I'm very proud
And
of you today.
you need to clear that head because
Aruba.
too many people count on you that you need to have a clear head.
Oh God, I wanted to say something really bad right now, but I won't.
You
Out
gonna
of
wait?
respect, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait because I'll get in trouble. But
And we have to thank who's on the other side of the earpiece.
Victor, I
He's been
love you,
great.
Victor. No one better than you, baby.
Victor, you did great tonight.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
You are the
Thank
best.
you for telling me
Victor.
my microphone was getting muffled from my vest. I appreciate you more than you know.
That was
And I appreciate everybody out there. We have right now we have about 1,200 people. or so.
1,200.
1,200 or so that we're tuning in. And again, we really have to be better in setting our times because we do it a little bit late. I think we announced it like that morning. We are going to be probably a little bit more diligent on making sure that it's at a specific time of the day, usually weekly, probably Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern. And it just works out the best for Andy and I, and means that we can actually go home and spend some time with our family. And tonight happens to be some friends. But you're all of our friends too. So we appreciate you tuning in, spending the time, and we will see you in a week.
I'm touched.
Wow, me
I'm
too,
touched.
I mean,
Kevin.
that was
I have,
touching.
actually a tear in my
Yeah.
eye.
Well, I evidently someone else has OC Stacker has tears in his eyes too.
Yeah, touching,
So,
touching,
we're touching.
smart
And
man.
with that, as I
Sing
don't
us a
have
song,
pen,
Kevin.
I don't sing. Oh well,
You did the other night, and it was beautiful.
It was not as good as Russell, but it was. We did a good duet.
Yeah,
It
you
was a
did.
nice
It was
duet.
impressive.
And maybe next time, maybe next Monday.
Au revoir.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir.
Au revoir. I will see everyone a week from today,
Big
hopefully.
party at Kevin's.
Party
Be
at
well.
Kevin's.
Yes, party
Party
at my
at
place.
Tattoos.